Well, really, we need to start with this video as an apology to Alan, our kind benefactor from North Lincolnshire. We've missed out box 24, which is a gift from him, and I wanted to get, was it box 26? I deliberately skipped it to do box 26 with the 8 customer repairs in. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back to box 24, and then we'll do something from here if that's possible, and then we're going to go forwards to a customer repair, and we're going to go one of my sets customer repair, one of my sets customer repair, till we do some catching up, because we're on box 39 at the moment, is our latest box. So theoretically we would be starting box 30, because box 29 has got a power supply I bought in it. So we're going to go backwards. We're going to do, hopefully I can fix both these sets. So we'll do this one, we'll do something like box 30, we'll come back to this box, we'll do box 31 and so on. Right, we've got Mark later this week, and we definitely will be doing one of my sets. So the first thing in this box, what's he said? 3 more radios for you, if nothing else, for parts. The Uniden, I recap it before powering it, does not transmit. I used the nearest value I had for 2 caps. Fidelity 1000 did power on, and that's all it did. And you needed the switches and the switches and screws. The other's an AM Midland for parts. Now, so yeah, this on the top here is quite clearly an 80 channel Midland. Instead of having high-low, it would be dodgy channels and normal channels. It purports to be an FCC approved set, but it's been converted, factory converted, to have that what they called high band, which is a export set of channels. So yes, that's a very useful thing, because we've got the reference crystal there, and it may have a working output transistor. We've got the switch there. I won't put that LED on anything because they don't seem that reliable, do they? And this just has a red type display. So that's a useful thing, thank you. So we'll put that on the pile. We've got some useful things here, very useful things. There's a transistor there, what's that? Gets the other glasses. Go on, where have I hidden those? Oh, they're here. Can't see my glasses without my glasses. Right. Oh, it's some power transistor, not an RF type. Anyway, we'll be looking through those, so that's great, thank you. There's a old SWR meter. We'll put that in the box of SWR meters later. I've got Fidelity 1000 here. Now I recently did a Fidelity 1000. We need to sort the volume control out on that. And we've got this Uniden here. So I'm going to do the Uniden first. And that will be today's set. I'm just going to pause this video. We're going to put this box 24 back on the shelf. So I'll put the smouldering bat on. Now, one of the things about what we do with the Uniden when we do the recap is we change them for 105 degrees, which is probably unnecessary because the sets don't get that hot, but it does help with the life. Mind you, they've done quite a lot of years on the not so brilliant capacitors. The critical ones which stop these working are the two 220 microfarad ones. You can end up with no display because it's robbing the 5-volt PLL voltage, and then you can end up with really flaky audio or a destroyed audio chip because the two 470 microfarad ones, I forgot about the back screws in these, because the two back ones can die as well. So these work out as nice radios, but they're not as sensitive as Cybernet ones. It doesn't affect the the range because of your noise floor anyway. So clearly Alan's been listening because he's done the two 470s and the two 220s. So I'll tell you what, we'll test those. And of course sometimes we test these and they read fine, but they're not fine. So although one leg's fallen off this, it was 239. Once you start going high, it is indicative that they are on the fail. 243. Yeah, 550 for a 470 isn't ideal. And that's dropping low. So yeah, I think they all needed it. But now we just need to check what has been put in. So he's got the 470s in there, but he's got 16 volts, which is what is 10 volts and 16 volts that they took out. We tend to up that to 25 in case you've got people with the dodgy input, you know, and they've overvolt the set. So that's that, but it's not wrong. And they're 105 degree, which is excellent. So this one is 220 at 25, which is absolutely ideal, and 220 also at 25. I'm just checking the polarity. Everything's spot on. So they're the four critical ones. A potential dry joint there. Doesn't mean it's a dry joint at the moment, but it's certainly a potential one. And I've already lost it. I think it was that one. I can't remember if that's supposed to be there. Right, well I can't see any anomalies. Right. plug the PA speaker in. That might be something that works. Once again, I haven't got my own the time. I do some shopping for an elderly lady from church on a Tuesday, and she's at Grantham, 7.5 miles away. And the trouble with old folk is you've got to be absolutely on time, or they'll start phoning the police to find out where you are. So we'll find the right mic. Here's a Uniden test mic. I know that because it says Uniden on it. So I will switch the power supply on, we'll go straight for 13.8 volts, switch the radio on, got no meter lamp, and we're drawing 157 milliamps and we get the right kind of hiss. And on transmit, he's quite rightly says he hasn't got any. So going to PA, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Looks like you can't control the volume on the PA on this model. I ought to make a note of which sets do that. And now I'm going to have to get the service manual out because... Oh, I'll tell you what, let's see whether it's receiving. That'll tell us whether the synthesizer's running, won't it? Yes, Mr. 21, it will. Because chances are that if it's not transmitting, it's not generating the channels. That's interesting, isn't it? It's trying. You know, you start to think, is it the signal generator? And of course the answer is no. That one's charging. So we may just have a VCO thing here. You don't know whether... I mean, that one's been messed with. You don't know whether that's been messed with as well. If I can find the realistic service manual. Right, we've 10 minutes left, so here's the service manual. We're going to want the multimeter. Oh, I think it's negative earth on this set. Yeah. I don't see many Uniden, so we'll just have to find the test point. So we use the realistic manual. It's such a good manual. I never saw a Uniden manual, never saw an audio line manual. I did write to both firms and I didn't come up trumps with either. So they're slightly different boards, but both boards are covered in this manual. So apart from the switch layout, there's no difference. Electrical. So it's a 2001 is the smaller one, and test point 1's resistor 52. I'm still going to have to find out because it's some months since I saw one. I know we've got a base station coming up, so I may as well remind myself now. So that's a 2000 board, the 2001. Resistor 52, resistor 51, isn't it? Test point 2, test point 1. So it is just there. Is that on the screen? So it's L17 for transmit. This is stabilised now, it's warmed up. I do suspect it's just VCO. on receive. But at least it proves that the chips, which is virtually irreplaceable. I say I've been offered these at work out about £29 each, and I've got to buy 100, so I won't be doing that. I'll probably sell one in the next 10 years. So we're on channel 40, just like that. Channel 40 it is, and we should have 3.5 volts. And actually this thing's transmitting now, isn't it? So we've got 3.5 volts. Test point 3 is resistor 6. .2. Yeah, 17.295. If we're on channel 1, it will be 16.905. So, yeah, it's doing all that, but it's not receiving. So we may have a dodgy capacitor in there. I'll tell you what, let's go through the transmitter. So we've actually got some forward momentum. So I'll put picture in picture on. So what is it? It's a Uniden Uniace 100. The mic's dragging the set onto the ground. The mic's handing its way to the ground and dragging the set with it. So we're on the low. Are we on low power? Yeah, we are. So radio is doing 3.4 watts on channel 40. On channel 1 it's doing 3.5 watts, and on channel 20 it's doing 277912 2779112. This isn't adjustable, and it is 3.4 watts. Do you know, I really ought to go back to bed, and the receiver is actually receiving perfectly, isn't it? I was on channel 14. I got the signal generator on channel 20. On channel 20. So on low power, it is 320 milliwatts. And on high power, the current is 814 milliamps. The deviation, wall, it's actually spot on. It's 2.1 to 2.4 kilohertz. And the VCO, you only set it on transmit. It was high, wasn't it? We'll do that again anyway. Right, we'll go through the transmitter. Can't remember whether that one's transmitter received, so we'll just check that. So it's L1615 L16 15 14, it is that one. 13 12 and 10. So it's kind of what you expect. Then we'll leave this at that. Have I got the picture in the? I've got picture in the wrong place. So at 3.5 watts, let's see where we can get a little bit more. That is spot on. That is spot on. That is spot on. That's spot on. That's as high as we can get. Don't like that on an angle. And that brings us up to the 4. So we'll recheck where we are. So we're now 4 watts. On channel 40 we are 3.9 watts. On channel 1 we are 3.9 watts. I'm going to tell you what, that's really on the ball, isn't it? And low power, we'll go back to channel 20. Low power is now, is this adjustable on these? Yes, it is. Let's say it's 300 milliwatts. $400 milliwatts. and our transmit current now is 900 milliamps. Nice and efficient. Just check the deviation once again. Voila. I'm just going to give it the slightest touch. Voila. So that can't change. I'll just do the power meter. What's it say? I should have done this before. Okay, well it isn't working. Is it working on receive? No. Meter lamp's not working. Good, well that's a good start. I'm going to switch this off and we'll see whether it switches back on when I come back to this in a couple of hours. Right, so I'm back with you for exactly 10 minutes before lunch. Just got that little time window, so see whether we can do something to the receiver in that time. So the radio's been off now for a good 2 hours, so let's switch it back on. It's receiving straight away. And it's transmitting straight away, so hopefully it was just the VCO, but it could be capacitors, so I'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep it on the bench overnight, and if we finish it today, and make sure it works tomorrow morning. So we've done the transmitter, we'll move on to the receiver, and like usual we'll start with the detector, whatever the service manual says. And the service manual, they have you do the receiver first, which is topsy-turvy to me. And they do step 2, they do the detector, which is not what you know we did in training. So is that the right tool? So I have to remind myself which coil it is. It's L19, and L19 is that one there. So let's see whether it's at peak. No, it wasn't. So there's a. You know what? I'm not going to unadjust that, but we've not done the SINAD readings, so I don't know whether I've improved it or not. So I've probably gone and improved it. So 12 dB SINAD, we've got, it's not listening very good, 1.25. Should be under 1. So 10 we've got 1. For 20 it's wasn't far out. We've got 4. For maximum squelch we've got, I'll get this accurately for you, it's 6 millivolts. Massive. But at least it opens. And then at the other end of the spectrum, put the signal generator to standby, set threshold on the radio. It's 5.8 microvolts, which probably wouldn't trigger around Scratchy Corner. So clearly it is going to need some alignment. So I've already done that, and so those figures might have been worse. So we'll go for 4 dB on the SINAD meter. We want L5, 6, 4 and 3. L5, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, actually, I think it should be the other way on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would always normally start with the front end. Well, that's an improvement for a start. We can go down a whole scale on the attenuator. A little tiny improvement there. No improvement there. I'll go back to that one. Drop the attenuator again. I'm going to go through these all again because it was so far out. Just gained a fraction there again. Now on to the IFs. Put a bigger signal on at this stage, see if that helps me. Yes, it does. Not helping that one though. There we go. So they're never anything like as sensitive as Uniden sets. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to check the detector again. I won't put the oscilloscope back. I don't think it's going to be out, but just to double check with it being so far out. No. So it's still not that hot, but it's not faulty. It's 1 microvolt. For 10 dB, it's 0.95. For 20, it's 3. I could change scales and get that more accurately. It's actually 3.2. So let's see if we need to do the squelch on this. I expect we do. Let's turn the squelch to full. Put 100 microvolts on the signal generator. It's not coming in, so we will adjust squelch. Oh, it's going to be like that, is it? That's minimum. So, tight squelch now is 300, is 600 microvolts. So that's higher than I would like, but it does open. And let's see where the sensitivity is, because that was lousy. So set the threshold on the radio. Signal generator back on. Actually 2.4. This is one of the whole things about these sets. No wonder they don't get bleed over, because they're not as sensitive. But there's such a noise floor that does it make any difference? This is the question. I did once change all the capacitors as a blanket job, and we did get more sensitivity, but it doesn't mean that that would work in every set. So that brings us now that the set's working onto the meter, and it doesn't work, so it's probably got a jammed mechanism. So we've got nothing for it but to take the front off, disconnect everything, and cut myself on the printed circuit board. Got something sharp on that side. Oh, I think we're going to have to go and get the string to take these knobs off. Right, we'll pause the video. Right, so I've popped the knobs off that using the pieces of cord or string around, because I'm going to have to take, mind you, probably can do the meter without taking the front off. I want to take the front off because it could do with going through the dishwasher, to be honest. Let's have a look at this. It's possible. I've still got to get to the meter lamp. Where's that? It's in this, down the side. These are always fun to throw back through. Now this is the fun one, because we can't get to those, I don't think, without taking the escutcheon off. So that we will try and do without damaging it. It's certainly been off before. One of that bottom one, the on and off one, was loose, so that was the right decision to take this off. The dishwasher is currently doing some dishes, believe it or not. So we'll have to wait for it to finish that cycle to put it to put this through. It's nice to see a radio that hasn't been messed with. It's a nice genuine set, this. Now what do we have to unscrew? Oh, the control panel. It's never ending, isn't it? Don't tell me it isn't finished yet. Those very flimsy plastic clip holds the LED in. We've got to hope that doesn't break. I'll just try and move it to one side. Yep, that's successful. And the other side. Hey! Now we're just left with the LED. Hey! So I thought it'd be handy to put that through the dishwasher, which we will now. But that's a faff to take out. So now we've got the meter out, we can do the lamp. And we can see whether we can unjam the meter mechanism. So is it going to be the lower one, or is it going to be the upper bearing that's playing up? I may end up putting some isopropyl alcohol in that. Well, I reckon that's freed it up, folks. Dare we switch on with it in this state? Well, it's deflecting, so I'll bring some more sellotape across with me. So we need to change this lamp. See where it goes to. So it goes down to this printed circuit board to that point there. And let's find where the other one goes. No, it also goes down to the board. And that's the negative. Right, we'll try and switch it on again. See whether we've got the kind of brightness we expect. Yep, that's spot on. Right, so we'll wait for the dishwasher, etc., and we'll be back putting it together. Right, so we've just about put it together. Just need to stick the knobs back on. Right, we'll do the RF meter and we'll do the S meter. Right, so when we key up, RF meters that one, especially if we're in high power. That was absolutely where it should have been, to be honest. It's between the centre of the red zone there. And then on receive, let's put 100 microvolts on. You know, that was exactly right as well, and I'd fiddled with that. There we are, that's all the settings done. Right. Let's put it on the roof aerial. Switch the test gear off. Just need to glue this. I've seen flatter. So we use Bostik number 3 adhesive. Get the dots in the right place. 19 Roger.
It's cup shaped. This is V-shaped.
19 Roger. Okay. So we'll do an on-the-air test later on. That's another set resurrected. Thanks very much, Alan. So basically that wasn't working because the VCA was out. So thanks for watching the 1981 Uniden Uniace 100.